Hello and welcome to Salt All the Things. Today we're going to explain to our therapist that taking a break from World of Warcraft does not count as self-care when you come back to patch notes that make you want to take another break. Just kidding. I'm Rocket. That's Trog.
Hey, everybody.
We're going to talk World of Warcraft today. Before we get into our main topic, Trog, what have you been up to this week?
Oh, me? I finally got the story done. I have
Yay!
one thing left to do before I get Sojourner for all of midnight, so I'm happy about that. And I caught up to you guys in gear, so I'm already 235, I think. So yeah, this week I am getting ready to start raiding next week. I'm excited. How about you, sir?
Didn't you hit 240?
No, that was show. I'm still 235. I need a little bit more of a push.
Yeah, you and I are about the same then. Like, I just need a couple of pieces and I'll be happy on my warlock. Yeah, I've just been, doing the thing that I said I wouldn't do because, well, there's not much else for me to do when no one else is playing. So I've been going alt happy, and I test drove. There's this new add-on called Follow the Arrow, and it's actually really efficient for just quickly, getting through the campaign as quickly as possible with minimal distractions. You just follow an arrow and do what it says. So that's how I've been killing my time. I got my hunter up to 90, and my druid is at like 87 as of this moment, I think.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
I just got done with the campaign
Right.
just now.
That's okay.
You've
You're
already
not
got
as
3
bad as our
characters.
guildmate, Mito, who's still working on his first campaign. And the unofficial contest is how many tunes can I level up to 90 before he finishes. So far, it's looking like at least 3.
I feel like you just want to keep that title of contest winner for even longer.
Well, I don't think I'm ever going to take it off. It'll just be my Discord handle from now on. Contest
21.
winner Rocket.
To anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, if you go to our guild website, pullallthethings.com, there is a contest where I put Salt All the Things inspired artwork for all of our different officers and veterans that wanted to be involved. And then we did a contest on whose was best. And unfortunately, Rocket Run won and Trog did not. So that was disappointing.
You say unfortunately, I say appropriately.
And then our favorite guildmate, Mr. Mito, he got 3rd. So he is not on the top of the list, which I am very happy about.
He, honestly, I was really surprised at the, last minute heroic comeback that both of you staged. I was in the lead by quite a margin, and then all of a sudden I was not.
Yeah, and I was 3rd for a long time, and then I
Right.
bumped up to 2nd, so I was quite happy.
So,
Hopefully those were just people sucking up to the guild leader. I'm okay winning that way.
So yeah, so now on my Discord for the guild, it says contest winner Rocket. And every time someone joins our Discord channel, it's like, oh my gosh, it's contest winner Rocket.
Unless it's not Rocket.
And
Then it's non-contest winner Kronos or Show or whoever.
Exactly. So one thing I wanted to kind of mention for everybody is if you go to our Salt All the Things website, and correct me if I'm wrong, Trog, you're the one who's kind of set all this up, so you know better than I do how it works. But there are ways that you can actually message us, and it would mainly be me that you'd be messaging. But if there's ever any hot takes that you agree or disagree with, or any ideas that you think would make a good salty topic for us to tackle, we encourage feedback and ideas. That's how things happen.
Yeah, a little bit of information on our website. You can look at where we're streaming. We stream on all the major apps. You can also see our episode list. I do a special set of artwork for every episode that we do based on what we've talked about in the episode, so you can see all those fun pictures. There's a link to both the Discord and the YouTube site where there's a lot of activity going on. And if you feel like supporting this podcast, because we're only making money through donations, there's some links at the bottom to do that. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we'd love to see you guys in Discord and actually be able to chat with you.
For sure. We would love to have some interaction with some of our fans other than super salty fan Ryan. Would be nice to, get some feedback from folks and some ideas and what's working and what's not, that kind of thing. So, but believe me when I say that Trog and I are probably way more critical of ourselves than you guys will ever be. So if you have a complaint, we've probably already thought of it.
But don't let that stop you.
But yeah, that being said, is there any fun auction house stories for the week, Trog? I mean, it's midnight and the auction house kind of sucks right now, but have you...
Well, I've mostly not been making much money because I'm not doing a lot of like farming for stuff to sell. I'm kind of selling stuff as I'm leveling my crafting, and I'm making a little bit off that, but I'm not even making back what I'm spending to level my crafting. So, but I will give everybody a hint. So when you go into the Argentina, there's little things you can pick up all over the place, like the Devious Delights or whatever they're called. Those things, most of them, sell on the auction house for at least a handful of gold. It's not a lot,
really?
But I've been making 60, 75 gold a day by just going into the Argentina, cleaning it all out of special items, and then dumping them on the auction house at the end of my play session. It's not a ton of gold, but it's a little bit. It's worth doing.
It's free gold. I mean...
Yeah, everybody always wants those shrinking potions and the deviant delights and all that kind of stuff. They're fun to play with,
especially if you're out there questing or just, looking for something to break the monotony of doing yet another quest line, that kind of thing. So,
and I don't feel bad for selling them because anybody could go get them from the Argentina if they want. It's really quick and easy for them, or they could just buy them off the auction house, hopefully from me.
I mean, it's funny you mentioned the Argentina. I expected there to be a lot more stuff available for that right now, but I guess they're just kind of taking their time, which is fine. They've had like 3 rounds of quests. I've done them all. One thing that I'm currently working on, and it's really hard to pull off, for those who don't know, there's an achievement for buying the toasting beer and toasting all the different playable races in the game. So... I'm having a real hard time with some of the lesser played characters in the game right now. I've got it more than halfway done, but I'm still missing some of the harder ones to find.
Yeah, I need to do that eventually. I was helping Kronos get it done the other day, so maybe you and I can partner sometime and get it done.
That'd be dope. Like, I have a lot of the weird random ones. Like, the only one I don't really have is a Dark Iron Dwarf. I think I have everything else.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a Dark Iron Dwarf, so we could talk after the podcast and I could help you get that done.
Very cool.
Hey, why don't you give us a housing update? Because I haven't actually heard you talk about housing for a couple of days.
Honestly, I've been with my sickness that's running rampant in our house. We haven't really been able to record anything with me and Ray. And as far as like Rocket's house, it's pretty much set the way I want it, but I am at the point now where both houses are over level 8. They're almost level 9. Oh, so wow. I'll be getting some more room options and more decorating options, and we'll probably add a few things here and there. I will be doing a recording with Ray, hopefully today, if I feel up to it, but by the end of the week for sure. But her house is coming along. You can look for that on YouTube. And also on YouTube this morning, I had just enough energy. I did a Mountain of Salt episode this morning.
We've been flooded with decor items as we've been doing all these quests and stuff. Is there any like a decor item you would call out as like something that has really inspired you to do something?
Well, with the whole shop debacle, the cosmetics, or not the cosmetics, but the decor that they released on the shop. The $35 that gets you the tender to buy the other decor.
Yeah.
Um, my child is really obsessed with like cherry blossom trees and things like that. So I took the plunge and I went ahead and purchased said items, and we have yet to implement them. But as far as like the quest reward stuff, I haven't really looked at a lot of it, although there's a lot of really cool containers and void theme stuff from Voidstorm, which is unfortunate because like out of the 4 zones, that's probably the one I want to go back to the least, but I'm probably going to have to farm up a bunch of those.
Man, I got to say, for me, the zone I want to go back to the least is Herodier because of all of those collection things. I've got to get Rare Scanner managed better because right now it's just a nonstop alarm every time I fly out there.
Yeah, you found that one for the moths, and I'm gonna install that for me to make it a little easier to see them, because having everything have the same icon just really bogs down the middle of the map there in that zone.
Yeah, it really does.
But I have started the process of collecting all of the moth dust. I think I'm at like 60 out of the 120 or whatever. It's so much. There's like, everybody, I don't often say this, but I'm overwhelmed with things to do.
Not just things to do. I mean,
excuse me. Sorry. Still sick.
This kind of gets into our topic today, and I'll let you introduce it, but it just feels like there's a billion currencies that I have to manage all at the same time, and I can't even keep track of any of them.
Right. And they do this with every expansion. Like right at the beginning, everything changes to the new currencies, and the old ones don't necessarily all go away or get converted to gold. And I'm kind of curious as to like what their thought process is with that. Like, why do I still have the enchanted undermine crest to craft something from season 2 that I can't sell to a vendor? I have to actually manually delete it. That just doesn't feel great to me.
Oh, man. Well, it's probably because if they converted all those legacy currencies to gold at the end of the expansion, then people would just go and complete everything real quick, and they couldn't use their previous expansions as time sinks to keep people on the subscription. I mean, that's just being honest. That's why it's designed that way.
You mean we're designing programs to keep people on the wheel? No.
What? Addiction through software? No.
Speaking of addiction, that leads us into our topic, Trog. How coincidental is that? So, everybody, I wanted to kind of introduce a topic today that might seem a little weird because we're at the beginning of a new expansion, but I want to talk about burnout and taking breaks from WoW once in a while. And as a WoW addict myself, this is something that I feel is very timely and appropriate, because if you start down the bad habits now, it's kind of like going to the dark side. Once you start down that path, forever will it dominate your destiny. You're kind of setting yourself up for failure at the very beginning of something that's supposed to be fun. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today is breaks. When are they appropriate? When are they necessary? And how to avoid burning yourself out, and what to do when you encounter people in game who want to impose this like artificial FOMO on you while you're just trying to have a good time.
That's a good topic. It's something I've thought about a lot while playing this game, and I've also quit the game a few times because I've just gone too hard at it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy to do because we love the thing. We want to do it as much as possible. But like, as I've gotten older, and I'm getting older, you can't make me grow up though. But, my priorities have shifted, and I have a child, and I have a wife, and I have, household responsibilities and things that have to happen. So like, I can't just slap my bottom in a chair for 8 or 9 hours and, just go. Although sometimes I still do, but it's very rare. So, like, I think my key point that I want to make for everybody is play the game how you would like to play the game and let everything else just kind of be secondary. And even coming from me, that's very hard to do, I can tell you, because this last week I've put some self-imposed like fear of missing out on myself, and I kind of feel like I missed out on just enjoying the beginning of a new expansion. Like I was racing to just get through the campaign as quickly as I could the first time.
You know what we should call that?
Yeah, not
the
not
Trog
doing the Trog.
experience.
Right. The Trog experience sounds like a bad alt rock band.
Bad alt rock band sounds like the best alt rock band.
Well, what was that band you introduced me to yesterday?
Oh, Coheed and Cambria. There.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. There you go. It's no Coheed and Cambria, but it'll do.
Oh, don't get me started on music because I will talk for hours.
Right. That's another podcast.
So, like, what you're talking about, I agree a lot. So every time that an expansion has come out, I started in late BC, so I was here for the beginning of Wrath, the beginning of Kata, the beginning of Miss, and then I started kind of checking out at the beginning of the expansions. But I came back at the beginning of the War Within, and now I'm playing in Midnight. Right. And consistently, when a new expansion comes out, I don't want to grind. I want to do the quests. I want to interact with the story and not just the campaign. I want to do all the side quests. I want to see all the story that it has to offer, the narrative that they're building. I want to see the systems, but I am the player who will log in every single morning, do all of my crafting professions, do all of my world quests, do like all the events I need to do for the day. I will do my daily WoW chores. But at the beginning of expansion, especially before the raid is even out, I feel like that's the time that I can just play this like a role-playing game where I'm playing to get to know the characters. I'm playing to get to know the story. I'm playing to get to understand my character. Like while I was leveling, I started playing around with bear form a little bit and going into Guardian spec. And I found
the joy that it brings.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And if I was just hardcore focused on rush through the campaign, rush to get gear, rush to make sure I'm ready for, raiding next week, I would not have taken the time to read every bit of quest text and to actually go through and like feel the story. And I said this in one of the last couple episodes, but when I was, I had envisioned myself, I really like the troll stuff. I'm playing a troll, so I figured I'm going to go to Zolomon as fast as possible. But in doing the Eversong Woods stuff, I was interested in what they were doing with Erator. He seemed like an interesting character. So I just completely abandoned my pre-thought way I was going to go through the expansion, and I followed Erator first. And I'm really glad that I let myself just kind of lean into the part of the story I liked, even though it wasn't a part that helped me gear any faster or get towards, end game any faster. It was just experiencing the story. And often I get pressure from everybody else in the guild because I'm the guild leader. I'm the one running the raids. So I should be at the forefront. And I feel that pressure every time we start an expansion of hurry up, Trog, get done. And I'm like, I just kind of want to enjoy this part of the game because I know next week I'm going to be running the delves constantly. I'm going to be running M pluses constantly. I'm going to be doing daily world quests. I'm going to have that load for several weeks before I start maxing out reps and stuff. I'm not in a rush to start that now.
Right. No, and I mean, I totally get it. And, I flicked you a little bit of crap your way, and, I do apologize for that, but it's just my personality. But again, the important thing is to play how you want to play and to allow yourself, if you hadn't given yourself permission to deviate from your path, think of all the stuff that you wouldn't have missed out on it, but you wouldn't have experienced it the same way, right? It wouldn't have meant as much in the moment. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
The continuity of Erator's story does not really intersect into the Haranir area or
No.
Zolomon. So I'm kind of glad that I went
Yeah.
straight into there.
It's one of those weird like side beat campaign mission things that you have to do to progress the main story, but it's not part of that story. But it's a compelling story on its own.
I'll say I'd love to see more of that, where the story is about a character and the world of Azeroth is how we tell that story. Not just the newest 4 zones, but that Eretor
Right.
quest I really liked because we went to the Eastern Plaguelands, we went to Blackrock Mountain, we got to see the results of the Second War and how some people are still forever trapped in that, which reminded me of one of my favorite books. I can't remember it right now, but one of my favorite stories by Richard Matheson is all about that. Um, and I thought that was really good. I'd love to see Blizzard do more of that, because that's what helps keep me engaged in the game. When I feel attached to the characters and the story, it makes me want to play. The treadmill doesn't really make me want to play the game. I'd just rather go play a different game and experience a different story.
Yeah, the treadmill of like doing all the chores and everything, it's not what we would necessarily choose to do. It's what we kind of do to be able to do the other stuff later. You know what I mean? It's like this
Yeah.
is a necessary evil that we have to just deal with. If I want to play with my guildmates in the raid, this is what I have to put up with. Again, I feel like right now is kind of the perfect time to remind everybody that, like, yeah, the season is starting next week, but that's next week. The next few days, just kind of relax, find your groove. All these YouTube videos I keep seeing flash across my feed are like things you must do right now. Don't miss out. You did this wrong. And I'm just like, that is not where we're at. We're in like the second week of prep. We are not in the actual season yet. You know, take things as they come. Enjoy the game, for heaven's sake. Like, we pay to play this. We should enjoy it. We shouldn't get stuck in this, self-imposed cycle of like, I gotta log in. I gotta do this, that, and the other. If I don't min-max this and, I upgraded this instead of that, now I'm screwed for a whole week. Oh no, whatever will I do? It's just you're constantly in a catch-up cycle, so to speak. You're always feeling like you're missing out.
And it does make this game feel more like a job. I have a real life friend. Doubt he listens to the podcast, but shout out to Evan if he is listening. But he's always said he doesn't want to play WoW because he already has a full-time job and he has a wife and he has a kid and he has other things he'd rather do than play a video game, which is just a job. And I totally get that viewpoint. Paying somebody $15 to have a part-time job does not sound like a compelling argument, which is
if
why
anything, at this point, we pay for the privilege to be beta testers full time.
That's why at the beginning of an expansion or when content first comes out, like when the 0.5 patch comes out, I'm going to be like slowly doing whatever quests they give us, whatever side stories they give us before I start engaging in the grind for the everyday thing. Because that's honestly the part of this game that I love the most.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that being said, like, thinking about taking breaks and how long is healthy, and I'm like, that kind of depends on the person, who you are as a player. Like for me, I've taken breaks for as long as a few months. There was even this is going to knock everyone out of their shoes, but there was a time period when I was completely done with WoW. If you look back at some of my Facebook posts, it's like, man, I miss the fun times that I used to have in WoW, but not enough to ever play that game again. And here I am playing the game, talking about it on a podcast. So
I have said similar things in my past.
So, like never is a very loose word when it comes to I'll never go back to WoW. But like there were times where I took 6 months, 8 months. I would play Star Wars The Old Republic thinking that would, I picked that up thinking that that would replace it because of my love for Star Wars, and I quickly found out that it's, terrible at endgame, but it's great for leveling. So again, it's kind of like a case by case, but I would say a good plan is at least once a week, take a day to yourself where you're not feeling the urge to have to log in. Log in if you want to, but give yourself those breathing moments, or even during your gaming session. I think it's really important to maybe set like a little timer. It sounds silly, but use the controls that WoW has in place. Set like a 2-hour limit so that every 2 hours you have to get up and do something else before you play some more.
I would also say, I think you guys giggle at me sometimes when I do this, but when I go into a new raid or dungeon, I'm not all focused on race to the end, race to the end. I'm looking at the views. I'm kind of getting to know the enemies of the dungeon. Like, I'm taking my time to absorb the experience. And I know every time I, like, in the middle of a raid, my character is off somewhere looking at a vista and I'm talking about it and everybody else is fighting trash.
Yeah. Trash that you pulled for us, by the way.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, it's always funny to me because you guys don't understand the joy of doing content with Trog in the group, because we were in a dungeon. What was it last night? I forget which one we were in, but he's just like, "Oh wow, this looks really cool," and we're like, "Yeah, man, we're going around the corner."
Or when Show was actively giving us advice during a poll.
Right.
I just backed right into another cluster of mobs.
Hey, Show, I listened to your advice and I ignored it completely.
Here's some more friends.
But, and I think there are times when that's appropriate. Like, you got to remember, there's people who their job was to design that encounter and that dungeon and that environment. And it's okay to appreciate it. Like, I don't know if anybody else has heard about this, and I know, Trog, you probably have, but there's a whole section of people who are boycotting flying in Midnight right now so that they can experience the zones on the ground. And there's a part of me that's like, that would probably be a whole different experience.
Oh, man, it definitely would. So I hadn't heard about this, but thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I know my own play experience, especially now that I'm a druid, I spend a lot of time in flight form, but I spend an equal amount of time in kitty form. Like when I went to Voidstorm the first time, I was trying to explore all the nooks and crannies, find all those little fun hidden caves and stuff. Like, I really do enjoy seeing this game from the ground level sometimes. It's really fun.
Well, and again, there's just so many little things and little moments that you'll miss. Like, I'll pull out a couple that I saw from a video I watched. So like when you do the intro and you finish on the Isle of Quel'Danas and you're supposed to go across the bridge, like most people just mount up on their flying mount and fly over to the city as quickly as possible, right? If you take the actual bridge and just ride across it on a ground mount, you're actually met by like an army of blood elves on the other side.
Oh, wow.
So it's like this big deal, a big gathering of blood elves just sitting there that most people never would see. Plus there's like statues and gardens that you run past. It's like really gorgeous to look at. But it's like, man, I was in such a hurry to get to Silver Moon City and get moving that like I didn't even think about doing that.
Man, I was the same way. I was like, I can't wait to start the story, so I'm just going to zoom right over there.
Another good one is out there in Eversong. They showed someone on a ground mount approaching Dawnrunner Spire for the first time. And as you crest up the hill, slowly out of the background, out of the fog, the actual spire like appears and then dominates your view. So it's like, it's way more immersive if you like take the time to enjoy it from the ground.
Can I point out one piece of irony here?
What's this?
You are talking about taking the time and noticing the game, and you saw it in a video, not in actually experiencing it yourself. I just think that's a little bit funny.
Correct, because it took someone else taking the time doing it that way to show me that there's another way that it could be done. And that's what I'm saying is think of, all the things that we miss as players sometimes by just artificially limiting our experience.
One of my favorite moments in leveling where I just kind of took a break and I was just watching was actually in Harrenir. Like just looking at all these plant melded animals, like these dinosaurs melded with mushrooms.
Dude, those
and plants.
dinos are freaking sick looking, especially the T-Rex.
And then those gulfs full of the mushrooms and like the fog, and just that environmental feel is so good.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it's all hindsight is 2020, coming from my position right now, because like, again, I am that person that kind of did that to myself. So I'm trying to, pre-warn a lot of folks that like, there's many ways to enjoy this game. Don't feel like you have to be, for lack of a better word, the sweaty try-hard neckbeard on, day 3 of an expansion. That's just doing yourself a disservice, in my opinion.
Yeah, maxing out your gear before the game even came out.
Right. Oh, it's pre-release. It's pre-patch. Oh my gosh, I have to get to eye level 240 in 3 days. Why? We're not raiding until the 17th, everybody. And even then, most casual players will only be doing LFR or normal at best.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we're going to start, right? We're going to start as a guild in normal, and as soon as we clear it, then we can get into heroic, and then things can get a lot more serious. But initially, I'm looking forward to, especially after doing some of the dungeons in this one, it feels like things are more approachable. And tying back to the topic, one of the things that's made me leave this game before is just feeling like the treadmill is not fair, and the treadmill it's too grindy. Like I was telling Rocket the other day, I played a lot of Diablo 3.
Right.
And I would always hit this point in the end game where I'm like, I've got my set. I've got kind of my rotation. I really like how it looks on the stream when I'm blowing everything up. And now my only thing is I can grind for slightly better versions of the gear I'm already wearing, and that's my eternal state. And when WoW starts to feel like that for me, I'm just like, I'm going to go play a different game.
Right.
That's definitely what pushes me.
That's when you like, oh, what's an alternate project within WoW that I can do? Oh, look, I can go finish this, that kind of thing.
I know for me, where it usually drives me is away from the game. If I'm not into that grind, but I've convinced myself that that's what I have to do, because that's what I do to myself all the time with many things, not just WoW. I get to the point where I start fighting that urge, and then I just say, screw it, I'm done. And I walk away and I play a different game. Like I think last time I walked away from WoW, I went straight into League of Legends and did not improve my situation whatsoever.
Oh boy, that's like taking a bad spot and making it worse.
Yeah, really, man.
Well, so like, would you agree then that like when you take a little break and you come back, it makes you appreciate WoW a little bit more when you return? Especially if there's been, like, let's be honest, they have done a lot of repackaging of World of Warcraft.
Yeah, so I came back at the beginning of War Within, like I said earlier, and I was amazed at the delves, at being able to do some content as a healer, the way the dungeons work. Like there was just so much that they felt like had completely overhauled, and it moved the game in a direction that would keep me more engaged with the game, because when the only end game is group content, I start to fade really fast. But if there's stuff I can do for myself, like delves and such, I really enjoy that.
And now the praise system, which is super fun.
Oh, I like the praise system. That is super fun.
So, like, for those who aren't aware, right now you can only do up to hard mode, but I believe next week there will be, when you complete all your weekly hard mode ones, you will get a quest to open up nightmare mode prey, which is just I'm giddy with anticipation because it's not often that I look forward to dying, but I know that I'm probably going to die at least once.
That's not true. You look forward to every raid night.
Well, I figure if Rocket doesn't die, was it even a raid? Just like if Trog doesn't butt pull everything, was he even there?
Oh man, it's reducing in frequency now that I run around in stealth kitty mode all the time.
Oh, we got to stop that habit.
I know, right?
But yeah, I do feel like kind of parallel with our topic today, the game itself, like the developers of WoW have kind of been maybe not directly addressing this issue, but kind of in a roundabout way acknowledging that it is an issue, right? Because it feels a lot more like we want to keep people engaged as long as possible. Obviously, we want to keep the hamsters on the wheel, but it's also giving them more things to do to keep them on the wheel instead of, the endless grinding out for gear or grinding out for renown or, just the fact that like before the main raid comes out, Trog, we have 4 pieces of free champion slot gear. That's crazy. That has never happened before.
Yeah, that was kind of incredibly strange.
I was like, okay. I mean, I'm not going to say no, but like, this is weird. Like, why is it like this? But I think it's because they recognize people need options and they're kind of, in my opinion, they're kind of hedging their bets. They're like, because, like you admitted, and honestly, I play the same way. When I get to the point where I'm literally just running dungeons to run dungeons and there's nothing in it for me, like I'll do it to help my guildies and help them gear and stuff like that. But if there's no other reason for me to be there, I just start checking out and I'm like, okay, what else should I be doing right now? But the prey system, hopefully the new labyrinth system.
Oh, I haven't even that.
I haven't even ran all of the delves yet because most of them are super huge. Like, and if this is just the normal delve, I can't even imagine what a labyrinth is going to be like.
I think I told you this yesterday, but I've very much been avoiding doing the delves because I know that for like the next 6 weeks...
You and I are going to live in them.
Right. I'm going to do them all the freaking time to keep my gear treadmill going. And then I'm probably going to end up doing an alt eventually in that 6 weeks. And then I'll want to do all the delves on 2 characters every week. And I know I'll burn myself out, so I'm not really racing to start until I have to.
I've been engaging with the delves that are like required by the story for the most part. And then if I find myself bored or something, I'll go try to run one that maybe I haven't done before yet. But that's about it. Like there's still half of them I don't think I've even stepped foot inside of.
I am looking forward to them though, because the couple that I've done, I've enjoyed. The one in Silver Moon City was a little confusing for me. I couldn't seem to wrap my brain around the layout of it. But
the college one, the Collegiate Chaos or whatever.
Yeah. I kind of struggled with the map in that one, but so far I really do think they've kind of learned from their less good delves last expansion. Are there any water-based ones this time? Hopefully not.
I haven't ran into one yet.
Although I went into one of the War Within ones, one of the annoying water ones, and they started making stories where there's no water in them.
Yeah.
So I think
it's
they
like
figured
they
out that was a bad idea.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was the only time I really looked forward to doing those was on my Warlock because the water was inconsequential.
So when you step away from the game, Rocket, when you need to take one of those breaks, what is the thing that makes you want to come back? What pulls you back into the game?
It kind of depends like where we're at in the season. Obviously, the main thing is just hanging out with my friends and my guild mates is what'll pull me back in eventually. But if I see that there's been a big patch update, I'll be interested in that. Or sometimes it's just like, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I take a couple days and I don't think about it for a few days. Then all of a sudden I'm like, I wonder what's going on in the game right now. That kind of thing.
I took quite a long break. When I left at the beginning of, or near the beginning of Warlords of Draenor, I came back very briefly in Legion, but I didn't even raid. I came back very briefly in B of A, but didn't raid. Or battle for Azeroth. And then I was gone until the beginning of War Within. I did not play at all.
Wow.
And
BFA to War Within is a long time.
It was a long time. I honestly thought I was never going to play WoW again. I had uninstalled it completely from my system. I don't even think I had the Blizzard launcher on anymore because I wasn't playing Diablo or StarCraft either.
Wow.
And what brought me back was my friends. Like, my number one reason for playing this game is social reasons. Otherwise, I would log in at the beginning of an expansion, finish the game in 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'd quit again.
Right.
And
I think I'm in the same boat.
yeah, it was my friends that brought me back. They all said they wanted to try the new WoW expansion and we should get the band back together. And I was all down with that. And then what's kept me here, honestly, I mean, it helps that I do, I co-host a WoW podcast with you, but it's the
Happy to
people
help.
and the community that we have that keeps me wanting to be engaged with the game. And I like how you've talked a lot about healthy breaks. I myself have been taking a lot of healthy breaks where I might log in to do my auctions, maybe a couple of quests, and then I'm like, I'd rather focus on something else today, so I'll just play tomorrow.
And that's okay.
And that's for me. That's how I keep it healthy, and that's what pulls me back into the game is the chance to run a delve with you, or the
Right.
chance to run a dungeon with Show, or do a raid night with our group. Like, that's what inspires me to play.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that point. Like when I was off playing Star Wars: The Old Republic and thinking that I was done with the game myself, it was my friend group at the time that pulled me back into WoW. They said, "Hey, are you going to play the new one?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm done. I'm really kind of having a good time over here." But then all of a sudden I wasn't, and they offered, again for me to return and play with them, and I'm like, that's the only thing that'll make me come back from an extended period of time.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
kind of wish Blizzard understood that better and
Right.
made that part more of a part of the experience.
Well, let's be honest. Like we talk about, we've talked a lot about like the new things that they've been introducing, but let's talk about something fundamentally that has changed. And if I'm being honest, I feel like it changed all the way back in 2008, 2009, towards the tail end of Wrath of the Lich King. And that's, WoW has stopped being about doing stuff with friends. It's more about playing the game solo to whatever point you can't do that anymore, and then grouping with a bunch of randoms and getting the group content done and knocked out of the way. And that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for friends.
Yeah, and there's some impediments that they put in the way still for playing with your friends. Like in our guild, we're a cross-faction guild, as most guilds are nowadays, I imagine. And most of us are Horde, but a few people prefer to play Alliance. It's really hard to include those people sometimes if we're short a healer and we want to bring Hit in the group, but we can't because Hit's Alliance and we're all Horde. And
Right.
oh, well, I guess Hit just gets to sit out and we have to pug a DPS instead of bringing him.
And it's just silly in-game decisions like that where they dangle a tiny bit of the carrot but don't give you the whole carrot. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you can have both factions in one guild. Cool, but you can't just queue for content unless you have a full group. Why? We're in the same guild.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense at that point.
At that point, like there should be no limit. Like it should just operate like a normal group finder.
You know that expression, you don't work for a company, you work for a person.
Right.
Usually people do not have a lot of pride in their company, but they usually are working for a person because they respect them or they're learning from them or something.
Right.
And I kind of feel like Blizzard doesn't get that about WoW sometimes. With like there's all this stuff you can do with pugs and randos and queuing and, you know, random queues and stuff. But a lot of us play this game for the social aspect, and it would be nice if they made that like a clear channel that you could do. Like, what if we wanted to do a guild group and we didn't have a healer and we could just get one of those, like the NPC follower dungeon
Right. A
healers?
follower healer to just come with us.
Right. And maybe that's not on the competitive track like the M plus track, but it's a way for us to do content together. And I'd really love to see them lean more into encouraging those longer relationships, those deeper relationships within the game. Because, I mean, that's what's fun, right? About an activity when you have friends to share it with.
Right. I mean, a lot of my core memories of this game are from a long time ago, back when the socialness was what was driving, the World of Warcraft. And more to your point, it's like, I guilds for a long time. Guilds have been made like inconsequential. Like a guild is just something to join if it lines up with, the hours that you're able to raid. That's the only reason to join a guild. And like, no, I join a guild because I enjoy the people. I've played with them enough to know that I enjoy their company. You know, they may make jokes at my expense, but I can dish it right back out and no one gets offended. I've found my tribe and I want to play with my tribe. There's a lot of that is, quite frankly, disappeared over the years.
Yeah, it really has. I'm sure you have a similar memory the first time you had a multi-person mount and you
Oh
used it to
gosh.
shuttle a lost guild member out to play with the rest of the group, right?
Yes. Or the alternative option of shuttling people to their death without telling them beforehand.
The first time priest got that grab and
Oh, yeah.
our guild priest immediately used it to pull me off a cliff.
That's great. And again, these are things that, like, this is what I'm going to remember. This is what keeps me coming back. It's like, man, I miss playing with the people who, gave me crap. So,
Don't worry, Rocket. We will always give you crap.
I can count on you, sir.
I will say the salt this week, at least for me, is I have a lot of strong feelings about tech
Oh,
giants and major game studios and how they make everything about the internet and the things we love worse by trying to monetize every single aspect of it. And this
right.
sinks into WoW with all of this new like limited time content, all of these like the bajillion currencies that are in Midnight that I'm going to have to like track all these different vendors in my brain and that's just going to exhaust me. Like if I wasn't playing at the start of Midnight, kind of like looking back at Shadowlands, which is the only expansion I 100% missed. Oh no, I guess Dragonflight too. I did not do anything during either of those expansions. So when I go back to them now, I'm like, I don't even know where to
Uh,
start. Like there's so much stuff. And
and
if I had been
Shadowlands,
there,
especially, is super grindy, super currency based because not only do you have the anima, but you have all the stupid faction currencies, all those extra zones. You have the Maw currency. It's a lot.
right. And it starts to feel like a collection of monetization and time sync systems instead of something real in the world. And so that's my salt for this topic. Like I wish they weren't so blatant about this like time sinks and FOMO activities because that makes me not want to play.
Well, and like we tackled this a little while back when I was, doing my finishing of the professions endeavor in between expansions, right? Like it's almost like they don't think about what it'll be like either for someone who never did the expansion or someone who did it but never finished it. Like, I've been looking at the meta achievements for most of the old expansions. I only need like 4 or 5 achievements to finish them off. But guess what? I'm never going to be able to do it because most of them require like weeks of work. And I've already got Midnight to work on.
Yeah, that's that between expansion bliss, but I did not spend my between expansion times, grinding in some other expansion. I did it doing things I wanted to do.
Right. But like even then, so professions, like they don't seem to understand that like at some point someone may need to go backward and finish off blacksmithing and battle for Azeroth. And they don't necessarily want to deal with the stupid crushing system that you implemented.
Oh.
I just don't understand why there's not things in place to just bypass the old systems that don't exist anymore.
Well, that's what I'm talking about with like blatantly undisguised time sinks and FOMO.
Right.
That's what those are supposed to be. So they're like, boy, if only you had kept up with your subscription and played during that time and done everything perfect.
Oh, sorry that, you had a family crisis during that last few months of the expansion and missed out on everything. Have fun grinding it out again.
Which is kind of the pitfall of playing an MMO versus a normal role-playing game where you could just stop playing for a little while and then you could come back and re-immerse yourself into the world exactly where you left off. And an MMO does not give you that opportunity.
But it's almost, and I mean, we're getting kind of philosophical at this point, but like, I feel like philosophy and, emotional attachment is kind of the core of our topic today. But it's almost like, WoW is trying to be more regular RPG and not so much MMO lately, but they still have all the systems of an MMO.
Yeah.
So it's like you're giving me half of the donut. I want the whole donut.
The whole donut? You mean the hole in the middle?
No, I mean whole. WHOLE.
Oh, I figured I knew why you wanted the whole.
Oh, well, that's another podcast. But I mean, I don't really know what else to say salty wise other than like, I hate the fact that like, if I take a week or so away during a current thing, that I am then behind.
Yeah.
That to me is just, makes me feel bad. Like, life happens to people and there should be protections and guardrails in place for that.
They are doing better with catch-up systems for like rating. Like if
I will say yes.
I just wish they thought, like you said, they thought more about that when designing these systems. Is how does somebody come in and catch up later so that they can still, experience the content, have the fun to get the stuff without
with
doing
their friends
grind.
Currently. Yeah.
Right.
Like, oh man, sorry guys, I had to take a month off. I lost my job, blah, 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 but I'm working again, so I want to play some more. I mean, it happens to the best of us.
Well, Rocket, I thought today what we might do is, since the podcast is officially live, right?
Woohoo! Launched.
Right. I want to put a message out there for the listeners. Like, if you enjoyed this topic today, tell us a story of a time you got burnt out, or a time that you came back to the game and why you do, or what frustrates you about the game still today that makes you wonder if you're going to keep playing for a long time. Anybody listening out there, we'd really love to hear from you and hear your stories, because I think the through line of this episode has been that it's the social connection that's really important.
Right. Like, digital items and rewards and things are fine, but ultimately why I play this game is to hang out with my people.
Especially your Trog.
Of course. But Trog is not a people, he's a troll.
The most effective troll, other than me.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but you affectionately call me a rat all the time, and I am a trash panda, sir.
I do. I've been calling him a rat lately because it really gets under his nerves.
Oh my gosh, I hate it. I'm not a rat.
That's why I do it.
Rat is negative connotation. Trash panda, at least, is cuddly and cute.
Well, Rocket, do you think we've beaten this horse pretty dead? Do you want to talk about what we're going to talk about next week?
Sure. Yeah, I think we've beaten it, saltified it, and we can throw it on the grill. To piggyback off of what Trog mentioned, just again, we are doing this to get feedback. So feedback is always appreciated, and comments that come in might be shared in a future podcast. So keep that in mind as well. But my challenge for everybody as we close this episode is, if you're feeling burnt out, what's one thing that you think you could do differently this week?
Oh, I like that.
For me, the one thing I would do differently this week coming up is not worry too much about gear and just enjoy the experience of doing the new content.
I think for me, it would probably be not worrying so much about getting every world quest done every moment of every day. I've still got some story to close out, and I still want to chase some of the achievements before we really start.
Yeah. I mean, Tuesday will be here before you know it, everybody. So again, I encourage everyone to take this time to savor the calm before the storm that is about to come. So our next episode will be a hot button topic that Trog and I go back and forth on quite often. And that will be, how does somebody decide what is going to be their main tune? And what determines that? Is it like, do you like how it plays? Is it the fantasy? And honestly, is WoW at a point where it's okay to not just have one? We'll find out.
That's going to be a fun episode that I'm going to tease you relentlessly during.
Well, and probably before and after.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, so we hope you enjoyed Salt All the Things. Hope everyone's having a good time at midnight. Just, do everyone a favor and remember the sun well.
Bye, everybody.